Please join me in welcoming John Sanfilippo, the co-founder of Finnipotamus, Tansley Stearns, CEO and president of Community Financial Credit Union, Jessica Hernandez, the SVP of Operation at Generations FCU, and Eric Givens, the SVP of Research and Development at Arizona Financial Credit Union. It has been such a... Are we missing Eric? It has been such an incredible honor having them on stage with us today and to, talk through a little bit about what it's like to give us a high-level view of the strategy, the thought, and everything that goes into bringing Buy Now, Pay Later to their membership. I'm also going to talk for a little bit longer so that Eric can get mic'd up and join us. But thank you so much for coming, and here you go. This is me still talking about Eric time.
Sorry. I was seeing Cardinals games. We're
Real smooth.
All right, let's get started. Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody for being here. I am John Sanfilippo, publisher of Finnipotamus, FinTech News for hungry CUs. And I'm going to go down the row and let each person introduce themselves in the interest of time because we don't have a lot of time. And as you introduce yourself, what I'd kind of like you to do is tell the audience about your BNPL moment, the moment you first realized, hey, maybe this is something my credit union should be involved with. So Jessica, you go first.
Sure. My name is Jessica Hernandez. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, Generations Federal Credit Union. And we've been around for 85 years. And we've been talking about Buy Now, Pay Later for a good while. And we were heavily into Q2 has a marketplace, and we were clicking on all of these marketplace apps, and we saw where Equipify was coming, and it had those big words, Buy Now, Pay Later. And so we were like, okay, let's do this. We need to see what our members are doing and how we can bring it to them. And I think it all just worked out because it was more of a time where Affirm and Afterpay were the big ones. I don't even think Klarna was around or that heavily used at that time. But we knew we needed to get there for sure.
Hi friends, I'm Tansley Stearns. I'm the president and CEO at Community Financial Credit Union. We're headquartered just outside of Detroit, Michigan. And I believe firmly in what Ron Shevlin talked about. We've built a competency of innovation at Community Financial. It's grounded in listening. We believe that to be a superpower. And in terms of Buy Now, Pay Later, it is really about answering the consumer need. And I think all of us are hearing about how difficult it is for people to afford life today. And we firmly believe that we as a credit union have a role to play in making that much, much different. And so we think that Buy Now, Pay Later is a part of that solution and driven through the innovation competency. And I would also say that from a partnership standpoint, we know that we can't do our work alone. It is better served when it comes to life with others, and Equipify has been a wonderful partner to us.
Eric Givens, SVP of Research and Development at Arizona Financial Credit Union. We have been really following the Buy Now, Pay Later space for a while now. Way back in like 2015, whenever Affirm kind of really hit the mark, that we knew there was going to be something that came around, and really just been following it since. And then the big thing we kept saying is, well, we're not going to be able to get our services or be an option in every single point of sale device, on the market with all these merchants. So it'd be really, really cool if there would be a company that could maybe help us get into that ecosystem of Buy Now, Pay Later right within our own mobile app, and then enter Equipify, who actually who did just that. So my team and I, that's really what we do. We research a lot of things. I call it the nerd stuff. It was so nerdy that Brandon Guerrero, who used to work in the research development area in Arizona Financial, went to, ultimately ended up at Equipify because he likes this stuff as well. But we look at all different items as it relates to consumers, our business portfolio as well too. So this is something that we see as something that people would like now, but also something for the future, right? We don't see this going away. It doesn't seem like it's just a fad. So that is why we're in the space.
All right, in the interest of time, I have a different question for each one of you. But if any of you have anything to add, please do so that our audience gets the benefit of everyone's knowledge. And Jessica, my question for you is, Generations has been at this a little longer than most credit unions. Can you maybe share with the audience some of the lessons learned or things you did right or things you did wrong or stuff like that?
For sure. So we were very happy to find out that we were probably the second credit union, but the first with Jack Henry to start implementing Equipify. And what we learned along the way is that we had a ton of customization that we didn't even know that was built into our core banking system. And we were able to work with Equipify and their team to really unwind from a lot of those real, stringent things that we create. I don't even know how we got to this place on Scimitar Ease, by the way. And every day we're learning something new. We turn something off to see what it breaks, and then we're like, oh, okay, it does that. So, but I will say, if you haven't worked with Equipify yet, they are amazing. They went and looked and researched all of the stuff that we were going through. They also helped us with a ton of marketing. We are a smaller credit union, so we do not have a large marketing department, and they multitask. They're doing member engagement, party throwing, all that good stuff. But marketing, it is very hard for them to sit down, buckle down, do that content creation. And we learned very quickly, without the marketing from Equipify, we wouldn't be where we're at today for sure. We saw where we were marketing it ourselves, and we would use all of their marketing content, which was great. And then they also introduced the weekly letter that tells you, this is how much you have available, start using it. And I mean, our numbers are no lie. Our growth has just been so crazy. We started off, yes. We started off with about like 30, 147. Some months were 63. I mean, it was just very, very low. And we got with the team and we started sending out those letters immediately. 528 new loans, 450, 509, just increasing and increasing. And I will say we did also do a very conservative approach. We kind of got burned in indirect lending a few years back, and we're getting a runoff from that. We also got burned in doing those upgrade loans. We got a small purchase. Hopefully nobody's here from Upgrade. But that was, we've really gotten bit. And so we were very, very conservative. And I will say I've seen where a lot of the speakers have been from lending or different departments. We launched Equipify strictly through operations. We did not work with our lending team. We did not work with any other teams, really. We own the entire product ourselves. And the CEO and myself, which I'm the SVP of operations, we went through, and with their recommendations, we really had a very tight lending perspective. So our delinquency ratio is phenomenal. I mean, right now, we're at 0.37% for 30 to 59 days, 0.38% for 60 to 89 days, 0.46 on 90 plus. And for charge-offs, we maybe about have $800 worth of charge-offs. Very, very, very small. And it's because our members have direct deposit. Like, that was one of our things, is we said you had to have direct deposit. We also limited, and we learned very quickly, we limited grocery stores, right? Because if they're struggling and they're using it for just plain groceries, they may not be in a financial position to be making those payments consistently. So we have not turned it back on for groceries, but we have seen for the Best Buy. I know we're working on it. We have a new CEO, so we're going to be talking about it. He said we'll meet next week. But at least for now, though, we have the Best Buys. We were able to see where one of our members was using it for oncology, so we were very happy to see that. We saw where one member got to use it for a tow truck, and then immediately after that at AutoZone. So huge, huge success stories. And then we're seeing that being paid back, right? Because we're there for them when they really needed it the most. So definitely a lot to see and learn from all the transactions that we've done so far.
Anything you would have done differently?
No, I don't think we would have done anything differently. Like I mentioned, Equipify's held our hand along the way, and then they even would come back and we need to tweak this, we need to turn this dial, and I think we've, based off of our numbers, our delinquencies and our charge-offs, I would say we've been on the right path. So.
Great. And Tangela, I know at your credit union there's a big focus on financial wellness. And why don't you tell the audience a little bit about how BNPL fits into the whole financial wellness strategy?
Absolutely. When we think about financial well-being, it is really about how we meet people throughout the journeys in their lives. And I think for most of us, when you think of a financial institution and the way they talk about themselves and share their story, it's often a couple racing off into their retirement on a beach, very happy together. And we know that we have a role to play in those joyful moments. We also believe that there's a role to play in the tougher ones. And so we've been doing some really interesting work around domestic abuse and violence, around cancer, and in the everyday moments that are really challenging, we think that we can do better. And so we developed a program called Close Enough, and it's really reshaped the transactional account because, again, footing back to Ron's comments, I don't think people even consider these checking accounts anymore. This is the way that we pay for life. And we need to make that more affordable for our members. So we've done a lot of work around reducing fees, around providing these tools that allow daily living to be more cost effective. And what's interesting is that the top 3 merchants that we see with Equipify are Walmart, Meijer, and Amazon. That tells us that everyday living is really difficult right now. And we want to walk with our members through that. When you think about why credit unions were founded, this is squarely the place that we need to exist. And I think we've got to have the tools to make that simpler and easier. And we see Equipify as bringing that to life. I also think it is a lot about storytelling. We see that very clearly again in our numbers. We were only seeing about 100 to 200 offers monthly, and then magically we start sending emails, and what happens? We've got 600 offers that are accepted on a monthly basis. So, one of the things that I had the gift of time at the Feline Research Institute, we were doing early stage partnerships with fintechs. And the common complaint that I would get when we would do those pilots was I'd have credit unions call me and say, Tansley, this thing is lousy, it's not working, what's wrong with you? And knowing that they were doing this partnership, I couldn't find anything about it on their website. They weren't even talking to their frontline teams about it. So, when we think about how we bring this to life, we have to make sure that we are telling that story, that our members know about it, that our team members understand it. So, foundationally, it starts with this strategy of financial health, and it has to be something that we're shouting from the rooftops.
Great. Now, as we heard earlier, BNPL is growing in all demographics, but Eric, why don't you talk a little bit about using BNPL as an engagement tool for Gen Z and millennials?
Yeah, so at Arizona Financial, we actually have not yet rolled out our Buy Now Pay Later. We signed recently. We are excited for it. It's awesome to hear all of your numbers, success stories as well too. For us, one of the easiest things that I can recall on why we're like, yeah, we need to get in this, and this is how we get engaged. Just all generations is I received this frantic call from a CEO of a company who said that his parents were using a firm and they really wanted their credit union to use it. And then I look and it's Bryce talking about, I'm kidding around. I'm sorry, Bryce, I had to do that for you. No, in all seriousness, we looked and we can see, obviously, just through data, through our debit cards and through our Visa system, is that right now we have about 18,000 members who are paying some sort of buy now pay later plan to Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay, one of the large ones, right? And so then we look at it take a little deeper and we see, yeah, there is a large amount of these members that are Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, actually, all demographics, to be honest, but obviously focus mostly on that Gen Z and that millennial standpoint. And so we look at this again as another option, another offering for our members. We have credit cards. We want to get into this, and we do see it as a long-term solution. And so how do we do that? How are we going to engage with those Gen Zs? Well, obviously, getting into online mobile banking is a must. You have to do that. That's the simplest form. One thing that we have been doing is we are revamping our entire contact center. And so with that comes a lot of new fun tools, right? New ways that we can send out, whether it's push notification, whether it's just through automated texts. You got to be a little careful, obviously, with the automated text. Can't be just sending offers and driving people crazy with that. Good old TCPA comes in with that. But we have a highly digitally engaged membership already, where we have about 78%, 79% actually this last time. Sorry, I'm a stickler with the numbers. 79% now, after looking at the data about an hour ago, that are online banking or mobile banking members. So 165,000 members, that 79% of them are within online banking. So we're highly digital already, and so continuing with those channels through. Obviously, we want to make it where it's automated on our end. That's going to be a way to do it. And so as we start seeing some of this data, I love the fact that we talked about, it's Walmart, it's Amazon. Once we start seeing when they're doing those purchases, we can plan to utilize some of that data to send out some sort of campaigns, the reminders, like, hey, next time you're at Walmart, remember, you do have this option here. And I know Bryce and team will go over a little bit on the roadmap, but we're also excited to see some of that plan your purchase and see how that comes about, because that's actually getting more to what even a firm's offering, obviously without all of the different merchant relationships. So there you go. There's a brief answer to your question.
There you go. So in our last few minutes, what I'd like you all to do is pull out your 2025 crystal balls and give us a look at next year, not just in terms of BNPL, but in the bigger picture of which BNPL is a part. Anybody can go first who wants to jump in.
What was the last part? Not just BNPL, but what?
Just the whole big picture of financial technology and what your plans are for next year and how BNPL fits into it.
I could start. I'll buy you guys some time a little bit, because I'll just go on my roll here since I was late. This is my penance. For us, so buy now, pay later is just one item. For us, we're also looking at even some of the small dollar short-term loan type offers that are slightly different than the buy now, pay later. Also along those terms is what we're going to be doing with our small business. A little bit different than the consumer side of things. Small business lending, do we want to jump into more of that? That's pretty big. Updating our online account opening system, as well as obviously getting some other tools and things embedded into our LS. So those are the things that we're doing. And the reason we're doing that is because, again, like everybody else knows, the world is more digital here. We need to make sure that we stay up on this. Yes, user experience, as Ron joked, yes, user experience is important to us, of course. But also doing it in a profitable way, right? We can't dump in. We don't have thousands of developers, right? We can't be dumping in tons of money into making something look as great as whether it's Cash App or something like that. We have to do it in a reasonable standpoint, and so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the most cost-effective way that actually does have prospective members open up an account, take out loans, and to help them out, as well as obviously to keep us. So we're at least making our money back on the expense.
Sure.
We're going to continue to invest in our innovation lab. Part of this for us is not only about the partnerships and the new products that come out, it's also about a mindset that is so critical to our future. From my perspective, I worry deeply about our relevance as an industry. We cheer for what is a very small market share growth on an annual basis, and we have to do better and should do better. We are, I think, as credit unions, one of the very best choices for consumers. And part of that is that we've got to keep up and get ahead in some ways. While I don't think we can get ahead across a whole tech stack, I do think we can make some really interesting choices that are very relevant for our individual institutions that can ensure that we've got a brighter future. And I think the way that that happens is ensuring that we've got a competency that's not just one or two people or coming to an event like this and getting really enthusiastic about a bright, shiny object, but ensuring that we're marrying that listening with subject matter expertise that allows us to continue to stay ahead. Because what I would say to you is, I became the CEO of Community Financial in June of 2022. We've spent the last 2+ years catching up, and everyone's tired, and everyone wonders when we're gonna stop. And what I keep saying is today is the slowest pace of change any of us are ever going to experience. And the way that we stop catching up is that we start getting ahead.
Very good, very good. So with us, we are trying to really focus in on our digital online banking, as he mentions. Our majority of our membership is, a little bit on the seasoned side. So we are going to definitely try to get in the younger generations. So we are focusing on like just rebranding and bringing out the most digital products that we can. So we're now, it was when we were offering Buy Now, Pay Later, which we branded as Gen Pay, we were just rebranding all of our products and services and trying to make it all to say, like, you don't even need to come in anymore. You can get your debit card online. If you lost or stole it, we have digital issuance. You can just push a button, you add it to your wallet. Guess what? You just made a purchase. Now you can do payment plans on it if you weren't even counting on that expense. We're gonna be offering a new checking account that will have teledoc. And so we're just trying to do everything to where these younger folks, like I have 3 kids, a 26, 21, 22, and a 16, and none of them have ever been in a financial institution ever. And the 16-year-old is constantly using his debit card to just do purchases online. The 22-year-old was freaking out because she lost her debit card on a Friday, and heaven forbid, she didn't have a debit card for the weekend. And then the 26-year-old is just a truck driver and needing to make sure that his debit card is always working. So seeing all of those walks of life and knowing that they have never set foot into a financial institution, we know that that is the future. So we are definitely trying to get ahead, still playing catch up, which I have someone that helps me ground everybody at the credit union and keep us focused. But we are definitely trying to update those products, make sure BNPL is right at the forefront because we know that they're all using them. As well as like the digital issuance and all of those features for the younger generations to just be able to just do this all the time, which they already do. So, but one-stop shop, that is very much our focus. One-stop shop. Doctor, hello. Buy Now, Pay Later, hello again. So.
Awesome. All right, let's get a round of applause for our wonderful panel.
Thank you. And then I'm just gonna share really quickly, y'all can keep getting up. Sure? Yeah, no. I was just gonna share if there's anybody that wants to, that's looking into doing it. I do a lot of referral calls just because we love to share all of our best practices. I think it's a lot easier when we help each other and just move through and get things done rather than I'm gonna try to reinvent the wheel, she's gonna try to reinvent the wheel, my name is up there. Y'all know the credit union. You can find me on LinkedIn. I do work a lot with credit unions just to help them say, like, this is what we've learned so far. These are the best practices. This is what a dashboard looks like. Because we all want to see it from a perspective of an actual client and not just the referrals that they give us, but to hear like it from the horse's mouth, right? So just sharing that. If y'all have any questions or if you want to see how some of us are doing it, I'm sure they'd be open to it. But we love sharing because then we also pull from what y'all guys are working on too. So just throwing that out there. Sorry.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.